Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, boys and girls. This is Marcia Weeks, and you are watching the Marcia Week Show, and we're coming to you live from Barbados. This is the flag of Barbados, and you just heard the national anthem of Barbados, a beautiful anthem. I hope you were singing along or humming along. Yes, I really hope that you were doing that. I know a lot of you, are finding it very difficult in Barbados at this time. A lot of people, and we're going to talk about some of that. But let us not allow what's happening around us to cause us to forget about the beauty of Barbados and what a wonderful country that this is. Yes, I'm really hoping that we don't do that. A pleasant good night to everyone. Let me see who is on tonight. Teroni. Teroni, you are the first to be on. How are you doing? I hope you had a beautiful day. Flojo Maloney, Esther Blue. Hi, Esther Blue. Yes, the loyal opposition will stay focused. We will stay focused. Lucinda Aline, yes. Marva Hunt, how are you doing? Judy Jilks, good evening, Judy. Owen Hines, Vernon Garnes. I think it's a long time I've seen your name there. It's been a long time, Vernon Garnes. How are you doing? I'm hoping that all is well with you and your family. Yes, good to know you're still in the fight. Mildred Ben, Marcia, my namesake. Good evening, Marcia. How are you doing? And another one, Marcia Miller. I know the Marcia Miller that you're in St. Philip like I am. Lori Bob, good evening. Heathcliff, good evening. Mystic Angel, how are you doing? Machino, Houston Fields, how are you, Houston? Adrian Bascom, I have not heard you in a little bit. How are you doing? ADG, good evening. Cameron Holland, good evening. Beverly Prescott. Now, Beverly, I want to tell you and everybody else who's listening, this first hour of the show, we're going to focus a lot on the comment section. All right? We're going to focus on a lot on the comment section in this first hour of the show. And so you stay there. Stay there. Adriel Wiltshire Adams, stay there. Good night. I've never seen that name before. Adriel Wiltshire Adams. Is it your first time watching the show, Adriel? Yes. Adrian, we're going to remain focused. We're going to keep the fight on. We must keep the fight on. This is an important time, and we can't afford to give up. All right. We just can't afford to give up. Tanisha Ford, good evening. Bonnie Springer, good evening. Good evening. Sir Alfred Benjamin, how is Brooklyn? It's summer. Is it hot and sticky there? What's the weather like? I know we used to live in Queens, and in New York in the summer it is just sticky. It's sticky. You're not getting that breeze coming off the sea, And while we were happy for the sunshine because it wasn't winter, but it was just so sticky. Shirley, Teroni. Oh, I said Teroni. A Mystic Angel. Oh, because Avril, you have been, but probably you have never not you. The first I'm seeing you commenting that I'm seeing you commenting. Oh, from St. Philip, Wiltshire. I should know that name. Yes, that's a St. Philip name. Yes, Long Bay. Yes, yes. Sir Alfred said Brooklyn is hot. Yes, 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 yes. Well, folks, tonight is going to be a real spectacular night of education. And what we're going to do tonight, we're going to review what we did last night. Very important, when you were in school, review was important because we need the information to be cemented. And so we're going to go over that. But we have about 6 young folks that are going to be on tonight. Brandon Blackman is on. THEIRRY GITTENS is coming on. ZICO John is coming on. Daniel BOYCE will be on tonight. All young people going to be on. And there's one rose among all the thorns there. And that is Janine Butcher. Janine Butcher is going to be on. And they're all going to be speaking on this this bill that we are dealing with, the wireless communications interception bill. That is what we are going to be talking about, or, you know, what we understand, the wiretap bill. If we say the wiretap bill, everybody understands that, right? So the wiretap bill. So we're going to be talking about that. Yes. Tonight with the young people. So they're coming on later in the program. Don LEACOCK will be on. There are 6 of them. I am just so excited about that. We thought you only had 5, and 4 minutes before the show, I got a call from Brandon. Brandon said, Marcia, I'm coming on tonight. And so we want to make sure that we have the room for them, because they are the ones that when we're gone, it's a Barbados that we're created, what we're creating now, that they're going to live in. And so these are the millennials, and they are the 20 somethings. You know, they are the ones close to 30, or 30 and a little bit, you know, 30, probably to 35. I don't think any of them are probably over 32 that will be on tonight. And I think that is wonderful. So stay tuned, guys, stay tuned. Thank you, Judy. Thank you. I appreciate that, Judy. Thank you. I appreciate that compliment. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Now, the other thing that you're going to have to do, why this is important. I want to tell Barbadians that when it comes down to you getting the truth of what is happening in Barbados, I tell you this, you're going to have to depend on new media. You're going to have to depend on shows like this, not just my show, but the shows that are coming on YouTube, those who go live on Instagram, all the new media is what you're going to have to depend on. Because as we know, media in Barbados is compromised. You look at stations, CBC, think about CBC, compromised. Look at Starcom, look at what has happened with Ronnie Clark, where he's with the announcer, where his song could not be played because of commercial reasons, commercial considerations. So while CBC is the mouthpiece of the government, Starcom is saying, listen, we have to watch our bottom dollar here. And so if what is going to be broadcast is not going to be in line with what our sponsors want us to do, or what, as they say, commercial considerations or advertisers want us to do, then we can't carry it. And so we're going to depend on you, on this station. When you come on the Marcia Week show on the Africa Bridge TV channel, you see no ads. We don't have any advertising. And we don't have any advertising because we want to ensure that what is coming to you is coming to you pure. That I'm not holding back anything because the advertiser, okay, has a problem with what is being broadcasted. You're not going to get that on this channel. We research and we're going to take it to you. And we depend on you. We depend on you to like, to share. Now, I can tell you some of what happens behind the scenes, and I'm speaking to you, using this time to speak to you, the viewers. We need you to join in the fight. This is about all of us. The loyal opposition, it's not about the panelists and the host of this show, or not just this show, but the other shows that you know that carry what the government doesn't want you to hear. We need your support. What's been happening is that they've hired skilled technical people who understand how to work the how to inform the algorithm then, or to work with it. And so what they do, they go on and they just have to tell YouTube that this show is causing them any kind of distress. Sometimes you go up, you see it comes up on the page, and they want you to tell. YouTube is asking me, is this causing you distress, or is there hate speech, etc.? And all that has to happen is for them to say, for somebody to say it's happening, and then they hit the dislike button, the thumbs down button, and YouTube then shadow bans the program. Now what you can do is like the show, like it. There's a thumbs up. I know a lot of you are, some of you are elderly, are senior citizens, the seniors. You don't want me to use that word, so I said the seniors among us. Ask your grandchildren to show you what to do. Okay, it's a thumbs. You see that thumbs up button? I want you to hit that thumbs up button. That's one way that you fight back. Those of you who are complaining that you were subscribed and then you find yourself unsubscribed, go back and subscribe. Subscribe again. We're going to need these platforms in this time. The one thing I tell you that the BLP, this BLP government did not expect. The one thing they did not expect, I'm telling you, is a show like this, where we're bringing to you facts. Research is done. We had an attorney on last night. Research is done. Analysis is done. Information is presented. We educate on this show. We agitate. We mobilize. As we say, Emma, educate, mobilize, motivate, and agitate. That's what we do on this show. And they just did not expect this. I'm sure they were blindsided by this. And they will do anything they can to stop this show, including, remember, they tried to stop this show with a cybercrime bill. You remember that? You remember? What did we do? What did we do to put that in the garbage? That cybercrime bill is in the garbage. Who can tell me what we did? While I look for what you're saying, this show is a lifesaver of truth, Tanisha says. Good night, freedom fighters. That's what I feel, Aaron. Yes, Marcia, Emma, we educate, mobilize, right? We motivate and agitate, right? Ryan Rock is saying you hit the button once. They're attacking the very core of our democracy. But surely they are targeting the show. They are targeting the show. And that's why I wanted to tell you that. And I'm going to show you something that happened today. Why I'm explaining to you. Cherish these platforms, folks. Cherish the platforms. This is going to be that, as someone said, the lifesaver of truth. And I promise you, as you see that we did up to last night, we came on and corrected something. As we said, it's a moving target. Things change, and we might say something on the show because that's the information we have at the moment. But we heard that the Prime Minister changed their mind on a particular part of the bill, and we came to you last night, and guess what? We informed you of that. Yes? You saw how important this show was to the announcer. You remember that this platform, how important this platform was to the announcer. Do you understand that? Before CBC was playing the announcer song, the announcer came on the show. Who remember that? The announcer was on the show. And the announcer, we put the announcer song on the show before CBC started playing it. And it's now one of the highest viewed recordings on the show or posting on the show. It's the announcer song, the Carol Festival. You see how important it is? This was a place where he could come and share with us, speak to us. Announcer was on here for almost an hour, giving us his backstory. So we got to know the announcer and understand where he's coming from. And that's why we are watching to see what is going to happen, Tony Paris. We are watching to see what is going to happen on Wednesday of this week. Today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're waiting to see what is going to happen to the announcer at Starcom. And for what? And for what? And you know what? Years gone by, if we didn't have this space, this new media space that we have, they would do whatever they want to the announcer, and they put out a press release. And he would be catching up. But now through social media, you understand, his story is able to go out way before them. His story is able to go out way before them. And I want to say to us here on this show, to stand with the announcer. It's an attack on free speech. And I'm sure he's going to be lawyered up, because my understanding is that those at Starcom, the employees there, they're not unionized. So he needs to have a lawyer. I'm sure, knowing the announcer, he's going to have his lawyer. And as someone said, is the NCF is that powerful? The NCF is that powerful that he could sing a song about the NCF, and they and our media, our private media house, a private media house, it's alleged that they are seeming like they want to fire him. I would love for Starcom to come out and to correct, to verify this information. And so this is why this platform is so very important. You saw it happening. We were there for the announcer and provided that. So I wanted to take these these few moments to remind us how important it is for us to realize that we're part of this struggle together. We are the loyal opposition. That's how we started out. And we started off by saying, you are the ones who came up with that name. And we started off by saying the loyal opposition consists of all 280,000 of us here in Barbados. And I say to us that we are going to need the 280,000 Barbadians to stand up in this country. I'm looking for the day when we are not going to be so quick to stand up behind a party color. I am looking for the day when we are not going to want to stand up behind a party color, where we're not going to say whether we want to stand behind a blue or red or orange or pink or whatever. We will stand behind this flag here, this flag. And right now, our country, this country, Barbados, we are losing the soul of this country. This is what, before I go into the wiretapping, I'm going there tonight, but I wanted to take this up to 7:30 to talk to us. Right? Someone sent me this evening, and honestly, the person says, I am ashamed to be a Barbadian living in Barbados. I am ashamed to be a Barbadian living in Barbados. This is someone who has served Barbados in various capacities. That was sent to me at 3:45 p.m. And I called them right away. I called them right away, my people, because I wanted to know what prompted this. And the person said to me, Marcia, when I look at what is going on in my beautiful country, they said, I don't plan to go anywhere else to live. I don't want to live anywhere else. And this is somebody who, served under the BLP government, under other BLP administrations, but who is just cannot believe the state that this country is in. Wrote, I am ashamed to be a Barbadian living in Barbados. And when I spoke to him, I realized you know what? He loves the country and doesn't plan to go to live anywhere else, but ashamed to be a Barbadian living in Barbados. When you think that you cannot find any of the traditional media houses that will carry the news as it is to the people. Yeah? When you think that our media is lost, so compromised in this country. As Justin says, PM Owen Arthur has declared that Barbados has lost its soul through governance of this ruling administration, and he left the party. But when he was alive, we didn't listen. A lot of us did not listen. When Owen Arthur was alive, a lot of us didn't, in the same way that a lot of people are not listening right now. Correct. These moderators, it's like they're working for the government. Some of these moderators on VOB, not all, but some. And no wonder this person uttered this, that sometimes they feel ashamed to be living in Barbados. Love their country. And as I said, I contacted them because there are times when, you're doing this work and you wonder, Cameron, you wonder if it makes any difference. You wonder if it makes any difference. Are people really even listening? Yeah, this is what we're living in, Shirley. That Shirley talking about the pettiness in Barbados. As Beverly says, let's join hands with this show. Please like and share. Now, normally, you would see Dr. Ferdinand on as your host on Mondays, and I want to say that he's a little under the weather this evening, so that's why I am on the show this evening. He's a little bit under the weather, and I want you to remember him in your prayers. It's not easy because one of the things that happened to us is that they will try technically to stop the show. There's also spiritual attacks as well, right? I know some of you don't like me to talk like that, but it is true, and we feel it, we understand it. So I need you to keep him in your prayers, right? Yes, Marcia. Yes. Okay. Richardson Dick is saying, since Skerritt became PM of Dominica, we have never had free and fair election. And we did some research on Dominica and shared that, Richardson, on the show. You're correct, and that is where what Motley is seeking to do. That's what Motley is seeking to do in this country, and we're moving up to the wiretap bill. That is our name for it, so that everybody can understand, right? Since Skerritt, and I'm going to talk about this picture on the screen. But since Skerritt became PM of Dominica, we have never had free and fair election. So all that is happening, the control of the media. Barbadians, listen, please. The control of the media. The media being compromised. All of that is preparing for the general election that is coming up. This wiretap bill is a preparation for the election that is coming up. They tried it with the cybercrime bill, because if they had passed the cybercrime bill, this show would have been off. Do you understand? No, they're trying another way, because then people are going to be intimidated. They don't want to share any information because they're worried that somebody's going to know what they did and that they are the source of the information. Do you understand? And if we are the people in new media are the ones that are pushing out the information, what is going to happen? They're going to stop those channels. This whole thing is stopping information, education from happening. This is we are getting, and the person I spoke to, they said they are preparing a one-party state, and one that is run by the military. I know it seems far-fetched, but don't you see what has happened now? We are now being told that the military will be able to arrest people. That was just quietly put in the newspaper right after Kadooment. I want us to think tonight. We're getting a lot of information. What are we doing with this information? I know we have different types of people who come on. Some of you come on here, you like gossip, right? That's it. Your ears perk up when the announcer, the controversy with the announcer, you're all into that. But when these serious matters, you are nowhere to be found. What is it that you are after? Don't you see that the soul of this country is being ripped out of it? Everything is being put in place for a one-party state. I have been saying that. And you have those that, you know, that there are some people that are being paid thousands of dollars on social media to counteract what we're saying on this show, paid by the government. This has been brought out in Parliament. So I'm not saying something that isn't true. And they counteract it. And you know what they say? Well, a one-party state is not necessarily bad. Do you understand what they're saying to you? They're saying that living under a dictatorship, it's not that bad. But they are the same people who send all these memes and all of the information from the US about Trump. They send it and they call him a dictator, and they everything. When they're the ones who pack up my phone with all kind of things from outside, but nothing about Barbados. They don't see the same thing happening in Barbados. Why don't you have the same energy that you have for the US and Trump? Why don't you have the same energy for Mia Mottley and what's happening in this country? Why you have only energy for Trump? You see, part of that is because a lot of you are afraid. So you will see what is happening over there in America, and you whisper in your homes about what is happening here in Barbados. And look at this picture here. One bird gets out and he's flying away. They're in their cage, in a cage, right? They're in a cage. Dave sent me this evening. Thank you, Dave. And one bird is flying away. The cage is open, you know. The cage is open. One bird is flying away, leaving the cage. And look what the others are saying. Look at that rebel putting all of us in danger. Somebody else said, because of people like that will never be safe. They don't realize that they can get out as well. Huh? They don't realize that they can get out as well. Where are you tonight? Are you in the cage or are you outside, flying outside the cage? There were how many young persons? How many of them went? I believe the delegation was 8 that left Barbados and went to Washington to the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights concerning the cybercrime bill that is now in the garbage in this country. They flew out of this cage. They flew out of the cage. And because they dared to do that, the bill is in the garbage today. I am saying to us that this bill, we can put it in the garbage. We must make up our minds that we will give, there will be no rest in here until they pull back the bill and remove Section 52B. Section 52B has to go. And this little birdie that is coming out of the cage is saying that, taking the news far and wide. This bill must be tanked. The only way it can be is if the people in Barbados rise up and say so. If you rise up and say so, it will be so. It has happened before. When last did you hear them talk to you about the cybercrime bill? When last did you hear? But you know what? We had meetings were happening. Meetings that we didn't come on here and tell you about. Connections were happening with people, with lawyers. All kinds of things were happening. We didn't just sit down and type, like, as they said, keyboard warriors. Thank God for Mr. Thorne. Thank God for that lawyer, Mr. Griffith, Corey Greenwich. Why I keep calling that man Griffith. He's Mr. Greenwich. Where's my pen so I write it down so I don't again. I write it every night to make sure. He is that bird that decided to get out of that cage. Get out. I'd never heard of that man before. So don't tell me you've never done this before. You never marched before. Don't tell me when the march is on Saturday. I never marched before. I don't do those things. Look at the condition this country is in. It calls for desperate measures. You're not doing anything illegal. We've always made sure we got a permit. Yes, they scrapped the cybercrime bill and went for this wiretapping bill because they wanted to what? Oh, crime. And everybody's scared. And this is the thing that's going to fight the crime. So everybody will agree with this. The loyal opposition is a flying free bird in the picture. Hurricane Writer, you are so correct. Are you coming on Saturday? Are you going to get out of your bed, get dressed, and come down to Kensington on Saturday? Now, I'm so glad Dave has this up on the screen. Do you know that the GIS, Government Information Service, that's it, right? GIS decided to print the lies that the Attorney General carried in Parliament. The Attorney General omitted in the debate, made a decision because he's trying to the whole thing is they want to convince the public that don't be afraid of anything. All right? Don't be afraid of this wireless interception bill, communications interception bill. Don't worry about anything. That's what the Attorney General got up inside of Parliament. We showed you on this show last night that statement is a lie. For those of you who believe that your officials would not tell you lies, we showed you. The attorney showed you last night in a non-partisan way, showed you last night. And if you don't want to believe the attorney, those of you who use AR, Chat GPT, or whatever source, whatever software you use, all you have to do is to take the bill and you put it in Chat GPT or any of those AI, software, whatever you call them, put it in there and ask it the question. In this bill, are there any instances where wiretapping can be done without a warrant? Just do that. The attorney gave the challenge, and I did it today. And you know what? It's a bill. The bill. I took the bill and I put the bill in and asked the question. And the sections came out. Section 52B came out. I'm going to show you the response of AI. But yet still, the Attorney General, do you understand? Pause for a moment and think. This is the person that is supposed to embody the law in this country. Stood before you and told you what? Dave, can you, I'm not sure what I know you're up to something there, you're going to show something else. But he stood and he said, listen, no tapping can go on in this country without a warrant. And he said, it's all in this bill. This is a good bill because there's no tapping that can go on in this country. No wiretapping can go on in this country without a warrant. But the same bill he held in his hand, Barbados, the same bill that he held in his hand had Section 52B in it. You're going to tell me that this learned attorney did not read the entire bill? Isn't the bill coming from his office? He could tell you that there were grammatical errors in the bill. He could tell you that this part, whatever they have to go and change, the grammatical errors. He could tell you that. Right? Dave, if you could go back and let's play a little bit of him. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is an official that stood in Parliament and omitted to tell you the full truth. As I said, it's like somebody asked the child, did you eat your dinner? Yes, I did. No, the child has vegetables, some rice, and you have a drumstick, right? The child only eat the drumstick and throw away the vegetable and the rice, the carbohydrate. Did you eat your dinner? Yes, I had my dinner. Or did you do your homework? As I said last night, they only did the English and left the math. Oh, yes, I did my homework. Now, I'm not calling him a liar. I said in this occasion, based on the bill, he told a lie. We cannot trust them. And the thing about this is that the Government Information Service repeated it. Anybody living in the has studied anything about authoritarian regimes, and you see how the media complies. He utters the falsehood, the right, and the media, the GIS repeated it, put it in print, beautifully put up, and sent it out on social media. All I could do this evening since 3 o'clock, just shaking my head. What kind of Barbados is this that we're living in? Dave, can you play it, please? Thank you.
Informed that they spew whatever comes to mind. It is true, Mr. Speaker, that the permission to carry out an interception is a warrant. It is true that search warrants, of which this is a kind, are generally issued under the signature of a justice of the peace. But not so in this case, Mr. Speaker. Nobody is able to run to justice of the peace and say, sign this and sign that and let me go and do this. The only individual who can authorize but not so in this case, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah.
Nobody is able to run to justice of the peace and say, sign this and sign that and let me go and do this. The only individual who can authorize the interception of communication is the Chief Justice of Barbados, or if he's not available, such other judge as he would assign.
Which is saying that, because he's saying that there's another one that the Chief Justice is who would give the warrant. But there are other cases, sir. 5-2B is going to come and haunt you. 5-2B is going to haunt you. And I'm going to send this to Dave. And Dave, there's another clip from him. I believe if you listen, there's another one that is even clearer. You hold a minute. Hold a minute. I'm going to, guys, bear with us because we want to show you this. So just you just bear with us this evening. All right. Now, know that the young people are coming on to discuss this further. Now, I want to read for you, okay? Word for word, transcribed. Where is it? Where's the transcript? The transcript, which was done by Mr. Corey Greenwich, of what he said. He said the only individual who can authorize the inception of communication is the CJ, or if not available, such other judge as he assigns. If an interception of communication occurs without that is unlawful. And the person who is guilty of unlawful interception can find themselves liable to a term of imprisonment for 7 years or $500,000 in fines, even if that person is a police. That's what he says. Okay? He says it is against the law to intercept communication. The only exception to that rule is the commissioner of police or the director seeks and obtains a warrant from the Chief Justice, or such other judge that he assigns. But as I said, I put this stuff in Chat GPT, and I'm going to show you what came out. So Dave, just check your phone there, folks. I'm telling you, this is what is happening. I heard that Miss Eastman had something to say about it as well, and I'm going to play that. Well, because she's also a lawyer, and I think that we need all the voices. So, Dave, if you check your WhatsApp, coming to your WhatsApp right now, is what ChatGPT sent to me. And this is what is going to haunt this Attorney General. It's either he did not read the bill, but he was able to tell you the grammatical errors that are in the bill. But he omitted to talk about Section 5B2. Oh, Dave, I think that's what I sent you via email today. I sent it to you already. Did I? No, check your WhatsApp. It's in the WhatsApp. It's in the WhatsApp. Sorry about that. But I want to show it to you. Folks, only the people of Barbados, we've got to have a sense of national pride. We have to have a love of self. We have to have some kind of dignity about ourselves. Why should we sit down and allow officials to tell lies to us? Are we stupid? And then for the media to go to print it and send it out in a circular. This is what happens on Animal Farm. You remember that? You remember that what we did in literature? Which animals were the ones? What was the media? There's one of them. One and Dave, I think you have it there. I think that might be it. No. Check your WhatsApp. I just sent it. Not that. Your WhatsApp, please. Yeah, I just sent it to you. Sorry about that. I didn't see your question. Yeah, I just sent it to you in WhatsApp. I want to show you what Chat GPT, just putting it in there. Section, that's why we had the hashtag up last night. Hashtag 52B. Hashtag warrantless wiretapping exists in the bill, Attorney General. Attorney General, wireless and warrantless wiretapping is in the bill. And you will have to take it out. Barbadians, you have to get really serious about this. That's it. We must demand the transparency, honesty, and trust of our politicians. It is a civic duty to self, country, and each other. Okay, let me hear what David's saying. Okay, all right. Let me see if I'm not. Hang on, Dave. Okay, where did I send it? Okay, it's a last. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Now, this is what ChatGPT, I promise you guys, you know, I'm not going to come on here with any story. The lawyer said it last night. If you go and you put the bill in and ask ChatGPT, it's going to pull this up, give you this information. That's why I say this is what is going to haunt this administration. And if you go ahead with this bill, I tell you something, go ahead with this bill and call the election. Go ahead with it, because we are going to leave no stones unturned for people to know that what you have said in Parliament is not true. This is what ChatGPT put out, guys. Sections allowing warrantless interception. Read along with me. It's right here. Did you remember what he said? Authorization by authorized officer without warrant. Sections 5.2. They said 5.2, but we know it's 5.2. 5.2. If you look down here, you see B. Well, sorry, B is supposed to be here. But anyway, Section 5.2 states the exceptions to the general prohibition on interception, which normally requires a judge-issued warrant. Normally requires a judge-issued warrant. These include situations where, and listen, we all need to memorize these things, you know. The communication is intercepted by an authorized officer in the interest of national security. These are cases where they don't have to have a warrant, but he didn't tell us that. The prevention or detection of specified serious offenses listed in the first schedule, and the lawyer went through that with us last night. Protecting the economic well-being of the state, and we talked about how that is so wide. For fulfilling the international mutual assistance agreement. Keep going, Dave, please. These scenarios allow wiretapping without a warrant, bypassing judicial oversight entirely. That's what AI told us. All I did was put it in. Section 5.2b will haunt this administration. Section 5.2b will haunt this administration. AI went on further to say to me that there's another problem with this bill. As the lawyer said, he didn't go into everything. Section 9 allows a judge to issue a warrant based on an oral request, bypassing the standard written application and affidavit required, though this is still technically a form of judicial approval. So that's another scenario that AI is saying you need to be careful of, that it can be done orally. That's not 5.2b, that is Section 9. AI says, however, this shortcut mechanism could still be misused, especially when justified under broad terms like national security, and leads to less transparency. And they're getting the information, AI telling you, from the Barbados Parliament.com. AI says this shortcut mechanism of getting an oral request could still be misused, especially when justified under broad terms like national security. AI is going to summarize now. Summary. AI says warrantless interception is permitted. Warrantless interception is permitted under the vague banner of national security, economic protection, or international cooperation, roles vested in authorized officers. Even when judicial oversight exists, the oral warrant provision dilutes procedural safeguards and rapid response conditions may be exploited. So you want to tell me that AI is from a particular political party? All I did was I went to the website, from the Parliament website, and stuck it into ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT identify any areas where there could be warrantless wiretapping, and this is what it produced. Do you see what I'm saying? And we are to trust this government. We are to trust it. If he was going to speak about, think about it, there is a reason this was omitted. This was a reason why. And why I'm telling you that it is a lie that they are perpetrating. Look at what the GIS put out. I just told you, you were on the show last night. The lawyer spoke on it last night and challenged us to go to ChatGPT. I did that. And look at what they put out tonight. Let me see if Dave has what they put out tonight. Dave. I know we have the one with the lines across it, but I'm going to send you exactly what they put out, Dave. We're going to have at 8:30. We have the young people are coming on, but this thing has bothered me so much. I'm just disgusted with it. That the government information service, this is what they put out. Dave, I just sent it to you. It's on Instagram. And while he's bringing it up, it says wireless interception, what you need to know. This is what came up from GIS, Barbados. Law-abiding citizens have nothing to fear. The measures target criminals and threats to national security, not ordinary people going about their daily lives. It says here that talks about warrants. Wireless interception warrants can only be requested for national security. Yes, we understand that. But what they fail to tell you here, once again, is Section 52B, that they can tap your phones and your devices without a warrant. We understand that the warrants can only be requested for national security or a specific list of serious crimes such as murder, gun. Yes, we know that. But what they fail to say to us is the exceptions when warrants when tapping wireless, when they can tap your phone, read your messages, read your emails without a warrant. Warrants must clearly targeted, not mass surveillance. Not every time, number 4 is wrong. Not every time there will be a warrant. They failed again to talk about the warrantless tapping. There is a reason, Barbados, why they have not done that. Ask GIS, what about 52B? Write them. Write the Attorney General office. What about 52B? This document is not correct. There is a reason they have left that part out. Because that part, 52B, is really what they want to do. 52B is where they do their play, their interplay. All of that happens. 52B is how they secure the election. 52B is how they shut down dissent in the country. 52B is how they shut down programs like this. They're not going to tell you about it. And when the young people come on tonight, you're going to hear about WhatsApp messages, because a lot of you think they can't read. Yes, the message, it is true that your WhatsApp messages are encrypted. But if the government wants to read it, they just need to use particular software to read the messages and listen to the messages. You have to understand. As Justin says, GIS is narrated by this administration. No need to even consider their opinions. They're clearly tainted. Justin, you know that, but they have put this out. And all that has happened is that they talk about Section 5, right? The 52A, but they just did not talk about Section 52B. When you're putting out information, to the public. You're telling the public they don't have to worry when when inside that bill, there can be tapping without a warrant. That's the thing. That they don't realize it can be used against them. And this is why I am saying to this is why I'm saying to everybody, I'm also reading the messages that are coming in. This is why I'm saying to everybody, we have got to put hands together. We've got to put hearts together. We have to be like that bird that flew out of the coop. Yeah. Now, they admitted to us when they were in Parliament. They admitted, right? they admitted that they were doing wiretapping. Yeah, you have it there, Dave. That says here, there is currently no oversight on interception and communication bill 2025 to protect Barbadians. So it's they already they know this is happening. So play what you have there, Dave, please.
Without legislation, it occurred unsupervised and unregulated. Nobody knows exactly how far the police have gone with this up to this point in time. They were not required to get a warrant. There was no oversight on it. We know it occurred. We have now brought legislation to protect the people of Barbados, protect the institutions.
Not true. You're not true. Lies. Lies. Play that again, Dave.
You
Lies.
can't do it because you feel like it. You can't do it and we don't know what you're doing. Yes, we accept that sometimes you will need to gather evidence by interception. I'm just going to call it wiretapping because that's easy. That's just easy for me. It rolls off my tongue better. We know you may have to gather evidence by wiretapping. But you, before you need to do it, have to go and request a warrant. Get a warrant from the Chief Justice.
There, Dave. Lies. That is a lie. Honorable Wilfred Abram, it's not true. You are misleading the people of Barbados. The very bill that you are debating, sir. The bill that you are debating, Section 52B, states that you do not need a warrant, but you are standing in Parliament and saying they must get a warrant, sir. Sir, with all due respect, that is not true. You either misunderstand the bill or you clearly decided to stand up and to tell a lie on this occasion. I'm not calling you a liar. On this occasion, you did not speak the truth, sir. With all due respect. Not true. Section 52B. You only quoted 52A, but you didn't quote B. No, this was the same man that his correct, Pedro, the same man that stood up in Parliament disrespected the people of Barbados by telling them this lie. His colleague said that, you remember when he stood on the steps of Parliament and accused him of lying on him under oath? Who remembers that? Only a couple of weeks, his own colleague stood on the steps of Parliament and accused the same man that is standing inside here, inside Parliament, spewing out lies to the people of Barbados. He's spewing out lies, this man here. His own colleague said, not me, I'm not saying it, it's in the newspaper. I'm quoting the newspaper. I'm allowed to do that. The newspaper says that Neil Rowe, his colleague, says that this man under oath told lies on him. And tonight I am showing you that this same man is standing in Parliament and saying what is not in the bill. to convince the people of Barbados not to worry. They are protecting them. They are securing the elections for themselves. Do you remember that this is the same party that what they did? They went into the other party's computer and took out their manifesto ahead of time. Do you remember that? In 2018, ahead of time, and came on the stage. The leader, at that time, the leader of their party, well, she wasn't the prime minister, the leader of their party, their political leader, Mayor Martley, had the document that came from the computer of their opponent and had it on stage waving and said, don't ask us where we got this from. The question is, did they get it from the people's computer, from their opponent's computer? These are the same people. This is the same man who wanted to tell the people in St. John when the water, remember when they had this high water bill, he sat there and tried to deceive the people in St. John and told them that it's because of their leaking taps why their water bill was high. You remember that? Do you think that you thought that he didn't understand how it worked? No, it was deception. That's how they operate. And we need to be in a position that whoever is in power. That's why I personally will not officially back any political party. I can tell you this now. I will tell you, I support the leader of the opposition, and we's in parliament. We are here, and we boast of what he's doing in parliament. But I'm not going to back no political party, because what happens when they go in and start and if they're doing the same thing, what are we going to do? Aren't you disgusted by this behavior tonight? Aren't you disgusted, Barbados, with this? Two of them stood in there, and not one of them told the people about Section 52B. Not one of them did.
But they had a young fella named Debo, come from some village there in Tobago. He said, Tobago's best fisherman. Catch a fisherman, why did he?
I am telling you. Dave, there is a Google document that I sent to you earlier today. I want to show you the people who are leading you. It says, please read this article. I'm going to tell you this one. I have a few minutes before the young people come on. And I want to read this, which is good. I'm just so disgusted that they could disrespect us like this. How many of you feel disrespected this evening? Now, this is an article, and I have checked with a lawyer. I can read it. I checked with a lawyer about this, and I can actually read it. So it's not my writing, it's on the internet, and I'm reading it. And this is some Barbados, this is, they gonna go up. This is Barbados Underground, bringing news and opinions to the people. So this is their news and this is their opinion, and it is on the internet. And this was October 23rd, actually. That's my birthday, 2013. Now you see two pictures there of these people. Go up there. Who are those? You know who those are? I want us, we can't, don't play around with this thing, you know. You got to be real about it. Who are those two people in front of you? Who are those? And this is what I want. This is the thing, that the information is out there. This is what Mr. Wade Gibbons, did I say his name right? Is Wade Gibbons? Mr. Wade Gibbons is talking to us about, you know, that voice that is crying out and talking to us about these people. Are we listening? Are we really listening? Look, let's read it. Let's read it before the young people come on. We have the youth who are going to come on. Assistant Superintendent met with the Commission on the 22nd of July, 2011. Okay? She gave an account of a meeting she attended with Commissioner of Police and Inspector Anderson Bowen, during which meeting the Commissioner manipulated his laptop computer and played a recording of a telephone conversation between Inspector Bowen and another person. So, this that I'm reading from now, they pause. It said extracted from the Police Service Commission recommendation of retirement of the Commissioner of Police. Okay, so the Police Service Commission recommends the retirement of the Commissioner of Police, and this is what was extracted from it. And this is according to Barbados Underground. I'm reading what's reported. The passing of Inspector Anderson Bowen has given reason for pause in the Barbados Underground household. While many may remember his exploits to capture fiercest criminal, BU will always remember him for daring to challenge Commissioner Darwin Dutton in 2005, and as a consequence, suffer uncalled for indignity before his peers when he was disciplined in 2007. Although he was reinstated by the Police Service Commission in 2010, his career had been effectively derailed, and this document is alleging that it was derailed by Dutton. And it says here, the commissioner believes that the information, and I can't get to read everything, but this is the commission's document. Right? This is the document here. All right, read some more. Go up some more, Dave. Is it not regrettable that almost every issue in Barbados is distilled through a political partisan lens? Take, for example, the issue at the heart of this matter, wiretapping by Commissioner Darwin Dutton, according to this document. Should this issue not concern all Barbadians, whether D, B, or P? Instead, we have the BLPites supporting Dutton and the DLPites leading his leading his prosecution, or calling for his prosecution. And we must remember that everybody is innocent until they're proven guilty. Okay, and this was not prosecuted. BU Barbados, and this is the publication at that time, is satisfied that the leader of the opposition, Mia Mottley, who was Attorney General during the period of wiretapping, must be asked by the citizenry to explain what she knows. I am reading a document here. I showed you the two pictures. So according to this, she was a leader of the opposition. This is alleging that she was a leader of the opposition during the period of the wiretapping. That's the allegation that's coming from this document. Dutton would not have been motivated to order wiretapping of political nature without being directed. This is what this document is saying. So, and it's asking for Mia Mottley, who was the leader of the opposition at the time, who at the time of this writing, but who was Attorney General during the period of the wiretapping, to explain to the citizenry what she knows. And I think that that is fair. How many of you think it is fair that even now in 2025, that wiretapping is being discussed and it is going to become a legal document? It's going to be made law. Do you think that Miss Mottley should explain to the people of Barbados what she knows, seeing that during the time of these alleged wiretapping, that she was Attorney General? Huh? So a lot of you are focusing on Dutton, that Dutton is back. Tanisha Ford. Who is the Prime Minister of Barbados? Who is the Prime Minister of Barbados? It's not just Dutton is back. Let's be real about it. Why are we pretending? All we're reporting is that Bowen is saying that he's alleging that this man in the picture, who was later disciplined or removed, was forced to resign. And by the way, I was told, and somebody pointed him out to me, he turned up at a roadside parliament sitting in the back, right there when we were at, right there near the sea, when we had the roadside parliament. Sir, did you visit one of our roadside parliaments? For what? Why did you visit and come and hide yourself in the back? Was it you, Mr. Dutton? Why did you come? Why did you attend? Can you answer that for us? Hastings Rock. Yeah. I don't know you. You were pointed out to me. Is it true? Were you there? And what was your business there, sir? This is how serious this thing is, you know. I see my young people are in. 2 of them are in. Yes, 3 are in. Waiting for the others. I want them to listen in, and we're going to go right into this section when we come in. So I sent this to you guys today for your notes. So look, it's a Google document. Look at it. I hear people talk a lot about Dutton. What about this other person in the picture? Isn't she the person leading the country? Has she been asked? This is what Mr. Wade Gibbons is saying. We are here talking now, this national conversation about wiretapping. And one of the biggest cases of wiretapping that came to the public. Right? Involved these 2 allegedly. And when it happened under, when I say involved, it happened under the period of time when Miss Mottley was Attorney General. That's what the allegation is in this document. And if that is the case, should Miss Motley be answering questions about that period of time? Was she aware that this was being done? Now let's read some more. I know that they're coming in, only 3. I suppose I have 6 of them here tonight. In memory of the late Anderson Bowen, who apparently was a very good cop, and his family, the newspaper I'm reading from, which is Barbados Underground, will continue to highlight what, in our view, remains an unpunished crime which was directed against an innocent citizen. So why is GIS saying that this is to protect us? Why is the Attorney General, this now Attorney General, saying that this is to protect us? Why is Wilfred Abrams saying it is to protect us? It is time for Mia Motley to speak to this issue. Barbados Underground is saying that. Go up some more, Dave, please. This is a document that they are reading from. The excerpts have been taken from the report which was sent to the Governor General to have Dottin removed from office. Screenshot that and go and find the report. So I hear you, simple patriot. This is tyrannical, is bully and dictator, trying very hard to control and dominate our lives. Are you going to make your voice known about this? Are you going to come out on Saturday? A lot of you in here typing, and when the time comes for you to hit the road, you don't come out. You're passing around stuff about Trump though, and about China, and about this and about that, but not about your own country. You live here. Yes, now she's Minister of National Security. Is she the minister they were referring to in the in the bill that would appoint that group of people that would give oversight? She says it's now going to be the president. But if we change, we're going to have to discuss that, because if we change president, doesn't she appoint choose a president? Give me a break. Anyway, I see they're coming in, so I'm gonna bring them in, and we're going to jump in right into this section. Dave, you can keep the BU on. Let me welcome our young people. Mr. ZICO John, welcome to the MARCIA show. JANINE Butcher, welcome. THEIRRY GITTENS, welcome. I am seeing Daniel Boyce here. Welcome, Daniel. Don LEACOCK, welcome. I am not seeing my very good friend Brandon as yet. I think he's going to join us soon. Welcome to the MARCIA Week show, everybody. How are we doing? I can't hear.
Ladies first.
One of the loyal opposition, Miss Eats is always a pleasure to be here, so thanks for inviting me.
Okay, speak a little louder. For some reason, I'm not hearing.
You're not hearing me? Can you guys hear me well now?
Yes, much better.
Okay,
yes,
great.
Go ahead.
Good night to the loyal opposition, as I was stating. Miss Eats is always a pleasure to be here, and good night to the panelists as well. Look forward to tonight's conversation with you.
Yes, so that is Miss JANINE Butcher. And she is the rose among the thorn, or the thorn among the roses. No, we can't do that. These are not roses. These are strong young men. Strong. All right. And beside her is ZICO John. ZICO,
Yes. Good night, viewers. How are we doing tonight? I'm looking forward tonight. I'm excited about tonight. This show has been awesome so far. So good night, panelists. And let's get into this.
Wonderful. And coming down the line there, we see Mr. Don Leacock.
Good night, Marcia. Good night, loyal opposition. Glad everybody's here tonight to have another constructive conversation.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And beside him is Mr. Daniel Boyce.
Hey, good night, everyone. Marcia,
Man,
thanks
the
for having me.
Rasta man in the place. Pure lightning
know
and
how it
fire,
goes.
fire burn. Pure
That is
fire,
it.
you want to call on fire tonight.
I hope so. Good to see
What
everyone.
fire?
Good night, everyone.
Good night, good night, good night, Daniel. And we have Mr. THEIRRY GITTENS.
Hey, good night, everyone. Good night to the loyal opposition, to the
You're
people of
gonna,
Barbados.
I see. We gotta hear you. Come on, man. Give us your speaking voice. You know when you get on a platform or you get the people around them. So don't come in. Don't talk like no rose tonight. Talk like a strong thorn.
You can hear me properly?
Yes, I can hear you in your speaking voice.
I was saying good night to everyone, to the loyal opposition, the people of Barbados, and the wider diaspora.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. It's good to have you. And I'm just waiting for let me just double check here for Mr. Brandon. Oh, okay, Brandon, that's our problem. Okay, here you go, Brandon. Brandon, you didn't get the link? That's what it is. Okay. All right, Brandon, you have the link there. Come on in. Now, folks, I want us to go straight into this topic of the wiretapping. And, you know, what is great is that we've had some discussions over the last two shows about this issue. And we've been educating the people, the viewers on this, and we've had time to read through the document, etc. And so let's kind of set the stage, and just so that we understand what this is all about. Let me go to Don. Don, can you explain what this new, in your opinion, as a young person, so this is your views tonight, this wireless communication bill, what is it actually allowing the government to do in terms of wiretapping?
Well, essentially, it's allowing the government to intercept otherwise private conversations. There's still a lot of talk about whether WhatsApp would be included in this. I personally don't believe that any WhatsApp messages or calls would be included in this legislation. I'd find it hard to believe that Facebook, Meta, Mark Zuckerberg himself would sign off on something like that. Flow and Digicel will definitely have to comply with the Barbados laws. So any calls you place with your Flow Digicel, I definitely think those would be included. But I think you should still be okay on WhatsApp. There are quite a few. Pardon?
Well, we're going to discuss a couple methods that we're seeing that the government can use, not through WhatsApp itself, not demanding that, but we're going to get into that, and we can always debate that a little later. But that's your interpretation of it, that they're going to be able to intercept our communication.
I think the worst part of it for me was just them admitting that the police have been doing it for years, illegally, and they're not going to be any repercussions. There's not going to be any sanctions for that. And their justification for legalizing it now is that, oh, well, the police been doing it illegally anyway, so we may as well legally do it now. Yeah. I just think that is very callous and disrespectful to the people of Barbados. It is happening in quite a few other jurisdictions. America is famous for it.
Right. Before we go
You-
on, but you hold it there, because we're gonna look
Sure,
at that.
yeah.
We're gonna look at that. Let
Mhm.
me bring in a couple of the others. Zico, why should ordinary law-abiding Barbadians care about this? Is this something, or even young people, should they care about this? That otherwise private conversations might be, they will now have the legal right to listen in to private conversations. Should ordinary law-abiding Barbadians care about this? Zico?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I believe that all law-abiding citizens should be paying attention to this. This is a very important matter. When I first heard it, initially, I thought, well, it's okay, we're gonna fight against crime. I just looked at it very callously and just like, all right, cool. This is means to crack down on certain criminal organizations. But then you really go into the nitty-gritty of it and see how it was used, especially in other countries before, and see how it was manipulated and used maliciously. We understand. We begin to understand that this is very, 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 very serious and can be very dangerous, especially when it comes down to the average citizen.
And so, Janine, is this something you think Barbadians should be concerned about?
Most definitely, as Dawn was saying,
Law-abiding Barbadians who are they're not involved in crime. Why? And if you think so, why should they?
Right, so most certainly, yeah, law-abiding citizens should be concerned about it, because I think that in Barbados we only really react to things once it then happens to us. So everybody should be concerned about something like this. As Dawn was even saying about how Mr. Abrams would have mentioned that it's happening. That was one of my biggest concerns. It was happening, so just legalize it and let us put safeguards in place. But also when it came to the cybercrime bill, you didn't want to put these same safeguards in place then. So you only do it for one thing and not the next. I think that is an overreach. It's a direct erosion of trust between the public and the state. And we are normally not getting democracy in this country, so why would we trust them now?
Well, I mean, when we look at the history of wiretapping in Barbados, and Don started to allude to it. I mean, there's a case there that I was reading about this evening, where I mean that particular case became very public, where there was a police, Mr. Bowen, who was he was alleging that the commissioner of police at the time, Darwin Dutton, that his allegation was that he was wiretapped by him. And that was something public where and it is believed that could have been part of why some people believe that he was forced to retire because of those allegations. When you actually think about that, do you think that Daniel, that Barbadians should be concerned? Daniel Boyce?
Yeah, I mean, I do believe they should be concerned.
Can you speak up a little louder?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you. So you keep that
Right,
same volume. Thanks.
Yes, I was saying I do think that they should be concerned. Recently, the administration seems to be using like Trojan horses almost to oppress poor people. I mean, it's not just with this bill. We're going to find ways to fine and oppress poor people with tint. We've seen it with freedom of speech online. So to me, it's par for the course. It's not really surprising. It seems as though this is a tactic that they're using to take away control from ordinary citizens. So it's not a surprise. It's depressing and disappointing, but I'm not surprised by the tactic.
Yeah. THEIRRY, are you aware? I don't know if you were watching the lawyer Corey Greenidge. He was talking about yesterday. He was educating us on particular sections in the bill, right? are you aware that there might be provisions in the bill that allow the government to tap phones or intercept messages without a warrant? And if so, what are your thoughts about that? THEIRRY.
Hey, you can hear me clearly?
Yes.
I think, given my position, and I'm in the best position to speak about what I'm about to speak about, I have not been totally necessarily paying attention to it, because I said, well, we're tapping, like how ZICO said, something good for the to track criminals, that type of stuff. So in terms of the show, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but when you sent it to me in terms of the actual acts, I was then made aware of it. So what would they say about that? Is it right? No. Is wiretapping necessary? I believe yes, but in this current form of the bill, I don't agree with it. That's as much as I can say right now.
Yes. Yeah, fair enough. Don, did you have any chance, Don, to look at that particular section that this is Corey Greenwich he spoke about last night, this particular section of the bill that was not mentioned actually by the Attorney General in Parliament or any of his colleagues, but it's in the bill. What are your thoughts on it? Did you get any chance to look at it?
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about it right now. I did read through the entire bill. Which section you were referring to specifically? This one right here?
52B.
52B. Ain't gonna be so close. 52B. Right.
That's
so
good?
I get what you mean. In the interest of national security. So that's just a very broad, vague term that they could use to intercept the organizers of this show, for example. I'm sure Mia Motley and the rest of the clones in there would really agree that this show is quote unquote against the interests of national security. This show brings to light many discrepancies and flaws that this government have. And they, as the government, might think that this show and any other similar programs are against national security. So that broad, vague language like national security is definitely a problem.
Yeah. Now, the thing here, though, Daniel, in addition to that, because that's one of the things that we looked at when we were looking at the cybercrime bill, Don, and you were one of those that went to Washington to represent Barbados. So I know you would pick up on these vague terms in the bill, like safeguarding the economic well-being of the state. Daniel, that is another area of concern. Do you see it as an area of concern, Daniel Boyce, and why, or why not?
No, I definitely see it as an area of concern. Like Don said, the language is just far too vague. So to me, it leaves too much room for them to manipulate the law and act in their own self-interest, which to me would only be to the detriment of national Barbadians, right? So to me, the verbiage needs to be a lot more specific in how they're gonna enact the law and how they're gonna basically conduct their surveillance. This vague language to me is dangerous.
And the thing about this, Janine, is that it is in this section of the bill that does not require an initial. It doesn't require you to have a warrant to do the actual surveillance or interception. You can determine they could get a warrant afterwards, but they don't need a warrant. These are the particular areas. If Dave, can you bring up the Chat GPT section for me again? Because what I did, I went and I put this document in Chat GPT and asked it for sections allowing warrantless interception. Right? Janine, do you think that for something this serious where your privacy will be taken, that there should be a warrant? They should go to the the CJ and get a warrant to conduct this, the Chief Justice?
Yes, well, I would think that the surveillance power should be mostly aimed at persons like if it's the specific credible threat. Obviously, it wouldn't go so far as saying it should be for or get a warrant for that. But if ordinary people are just going about their daily lives, yes, you should get a warrant for that for those persons.
Get a warrant for that. Well, these are the sections allowing warrantless interception. Those same vague sections that Don spoke about and that Danielle spoke about. Remember, these are vague. Those vague sections, and those are the areas where you do not need a warrant to conduct the tapping. It could be authorized by an authorized officer without a warrant. Section 5.2 states that the exceptions to the general prohibition on interception, which normally requires a judge-issued warrant, these include situations where, so there are situations where you need a judge-issued warrant, except these. The communication is intercepted by an authorized officer in the interest of national security for the prevention or detection of specified serious offenses, the protecting the economic well-being of the state, for fulfilling the international mutual assistance agreements. These scenarios allow wiretapping without a warrant, bypassing judicial oversight entirely. And this is taken from the BarbadosParliament.com. There's also another issue here with with oral warrants. Section 9 allows a judge to issue a warrant based on an oral request, bypassing the standard written application and affidavit requirement, though this is still technically a form of judicial approval. However, this shortcut mechanism could still be misused, especially when justified under broad terms like national security, and leads to less transparency. So, ZICO,
Yeah.
yeah, are you okay with not having a warrant not being issued in these circumstances? I see Brandon is there. I'm allowing him to get to relax a bit, and then we ZICO.
Yeah, I think this is a huge overreach on the government's part, especially when it comes to the oral warrants. We know how this could be manipulated. We know how this could be used in the favor of the government. I think this could also be used when you use words such as national security, or even words such as criminal activity. That's also very vague as well. How serious is these criminal offenses? Is it minor? What would you consider to be an offense, or what would you consider to be national security? Understand? And then saying that an oral warrant by saying somebody tell me that I could come and tap this phone, so, and then afterwards going back up, and I just think that is very, very I just think it's a huge overreach on the government's part. I do not agree with it at all. I mean, at first, as I said earlier, I just thought that, yeah, this is cool. We getting down on the criminal activity within Barbados, probably trying to disorganize some of the criminal organizations within Barbados. But when we look at it like this, I mean, like, this is an invasion of privacy, especially for the average citizen of Barbados, especially when it goes against the grain, and for those who speak against certain situations and within Barbados as well. I mean, like, what's next? Like, seriously, what is next? And it's becoming very scary that that somebody could look in and listening to your conversations without you actually knowing what it is.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I think that everybody on here, Brandon, would agree. Good night, Brandon. Good to see you.
Hey, good night, Mars. Good night, everyone. Good to see you.
Sorry about that. It's my fault, people, why he wasn't on earlier. Brandon, I think everybody would agree that we need to have some kind of crime fighting mechanism put in place. We need stronger laws. We need to use the laws that we have on the books. We need to do something. and wiretapping to some extent, and we're going to look at that, can help to do that. But we're here looking at the current bill that is supposed to be made into law. And Brandon, there are sections in this bill that would allow the authorized individuals, which is the Commissioner of Police or the Director General, to be able to request or to do wiretapping. We're calling wiretapping, or to tap, to surveil, to intercept communications without a warrant.
Mm-hmm.
They've listed several incidences here where it can actually happen based on the law. And so I wanted to hear from the young people. What are your thoughts about that?
Ooh. Right now, after taking some time to read the literature and take a chance to look at everything, to be honest, it is a very tough position to be in, because for the first part, information is key, right? Mm-hmm. Information is key, and information is currency in 2025. And to be able to have access to such a wide pool of information, and to be faced with statutes that are so, as everybody has been saying, so broad, and who is the judge, for what is, going to affect national security, you understand? And putting the power in the hands that be to make those decisions within their own little space puts us, the people, in a position where we got to be even more delicate with the things that we say and the information that we choose to give out, even in basic day-to-day conversations, right? And there is a positive side to this, of course, but we have to look at everything on a scale. And right now, this scale is heavily outweighed on the negative side, because yes, okay, you may be able to listen into a few more conversations that could give you some information as it relates to nefarious activities. But as we know, and history has shown, criminals have found very creative ways to avoid things like this from time immemorial. So as much as there's the positive, the negatives completely outweigh them. So I think in order for something like this to fly, we need to create serious safeguards that can make the people of Barbados feel comfortable with something like this. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we're there yet. We're not even close.
We're not close. We're not close. Don, you started to speak about this, Don, the fact that people whose phones and their devices were being tapped, and they said it in Parliament, almost like, well, yeah, that happened, let's move on, right? Now, with this 52B, where for these vague reasons, someone's phones could be tapped without any warrant. You would have read the document, hopefully, by Barbados Underground, where it was being investigated in 2013 that, there were several persons whose phones were tapped, including Owen Arthur, including Fronda Stewart, including Faith Marshall Harris, who is in charge of the children's advocate, including the policeman Bowen, who was a whistleblower because he came out and spoke about it. All these people's phones, there's so many of them, phones were tapped. The question is, Section 52B, that doesn't require warrant. Do you think that Don and the others think about this? Could this be used against political rivals, journalists, or activists instead of criminals?
Yeah, it definitely could. At the end of the day, national security could mean anything to the particular government official who is interpreting that at the time. Any minister who thinks that criticism of them is going to, quote unquote, bring up national security, they could use it. It's going to be very, very hard Barbados already doesn't have an opposition as it is. And this, similar to the cybercrimes bill, is just another way to try to stamp out opposition. The government know full well that just by enacting the law, people are going to be a lot more silent. People are going to be on their toes a lot more. They're going to, as Brandon said, communicate just a lot less. They're going to be more cognizant about how they communicate. And all of this is an effort to, just stay in power as long as they humanly possibly can. This plus the cybercrimes bill, as you mentioned, Marcia, we've been talking about the cybercrimes bill for well over a year now. This is a very similar bill to that. And wiretapping people without even a warrant, there's just no way to say that there can be any kind of pros to this situation. All we can come up with are cons.
Yeah. Janine, do you think that this can be used, this section of the bill, because we're not saying the entire bill is bad, but especially when you're going to have, tapping without warrant. And it's in the section that everybody here, we are agreeing with those, the terms are vague and broad. Do you think that this is something that the ruling government could use in an election season?
Yes, most certainly. For me, as Dawn was saying, as Odo said earlier, it brought me back to cybercrime bills legislation. They couldn't get through with that. So here's another thing that we can go through with. We are sitting right now in a country that doesn't really have a constitution, so we can do anything. When I really think about it, though, I think that this bill is what we will call proportionate, where we will target specific individuals and do not mass monitoring. It will come down to that at the end of the day. Also, it will be used for political and personal gain. We have no doubts about it. We will like it to be used for crime prevention. But look at the Tint situation. People say that, oh, they got the Tint, and boys start to write about like shooting, or just walking about and shooting as well. Even with the Tint situational persons are not even know if they're getting the correct reading for Tint. So we continue to just put the cart before the horse in this country, and I do believe that it will be used for politics.
Yes, that it is something, it has the potential, especially when we don't have, as I would say, the guardrails in place, the checks and the balances in place. You can get, we see from Section 9 that you could get a warrant, an oral, you can request one orally. And then we are seeing in Section 5.2b that you can perform taps, or you can listen into conversation, intercept communication without a warrant for vague, very vague and broad economic well-being, national security and all of that. What if THEIRRY, I'm here criticizing the Pearhead Project. Suppose I'm criticizing the Pearhead Project, right? And the powers that be think that I am coming against the economic well-being of the country. Based on Section 5.2b, I can be tapped. They can decide to intercept my communications, and there's no warrant. They decide that this is what they're going to do. Based on that, I'm moving the conversation along, THEIRRY. If you had the power, would you recommend that this section, that they remove this section from the bill?
They need to remove the section about economic well-being, and need to remove the section about national security. It's too vague, right? But the thing about it, I honest to God, I asked some elders recently about who writes the bills, and they told myself, they always said to myself, he could take offense or not, the AG. I don't know if he's part of the writing process, the drafting process, but if he is, he's a horrible draftsman. Horrible. Or is it people, whoever writing it, taking some serious...
Why do you say he's horrible? Why do you think he's a horrible draftsman?
Whoever writing is a horrible draftsman. This is why I think so, right? Because look at it. Look at the cybercrime bill. Cybercrime bill had the same sort of vague language. Look at this bill now. Same sort of vague language. Is it that they're bad at the job, or they're very afraid? They know what, okay, you know how the Americans do it. They send it to the Senate and they have to go back over again. So I would expect it to be kind of the same thing. Go to the minister and some minister, add this bill. I don't know, add this, but sir, that is not right. We here wait till you add this. So you gotta be some sort of fear. Is it a fear or you're very bad at your job? One or two. That doesn't be taken on it, but it needs to be taken out because it's not right. Right? And lastly, respect to the oral section. I won't take that out. I would just say if you're going to give an oral request, it has to be recorded and documented. That's one. And then when the CJ gives the oral order, if he chooses to give an oral order, then it has to be documented by some sort of secretary. That's where it will put that. So you include the safeguard. But as I said before, they could take offense to come and curse it on the road. But whoever doing it, either bad at the job or the frightening for whoever giving the instructions. We want it to.
But ZICO, you think that it is that they're bad at their jobs, or is it
written deliberately?
I think it's purposely written like this.
It's purposely
written like this. If you want to hide the truth, put it in a book, and Bajans don't read. That's sad to say, but Bajans don't read. So if we can vaguely write something like this in legal terms and just go into Parliament and speak passionately about Hiba Jibo and paint a picture, and Bajans just go with it. You know, Bajans just look for clips. Bajans don't really go into things deeply. So it's purposely written like this. It's not that they're bad at their jobs. They just know how to hide the truth. Hide the truth in writing. Because we do not read. And that's the sad part of it. We just do not read. I mean,
Daniel, let me ask, Daniel, you agree with do you agree with ZICO that it's deliberate? Do you think it's deliberately done this way?
Yeah, man, I believe it's deliberate for sure.
Why?
I mean, let's be honest, the administration, they're filled with intelligent persons. They're not.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Sorry, I was saying
up here.
It might be me. Is it any better now?
A little bit better for me.
Okay. So I was saying that the administration is filled with intelligent persons, right? You know, they know what they're doing. The language is vague on purpose. I think it was introduced at the right time. I saw someone in the comments saying done within 5 days of crop over. You know, if they can sneak this through, I referenced the Trojan horse before. If they can sneak this through, by the time they get it, you know, passed into law, the ramifications of it, you know, it'll be too late, right? I heard Janine mention earlier, speaking about the tent. I don't see the evidence, or I haven't seen them provide any evidence to suggest any of the measures that they're trying to implement will actually do anything to impact the fighting of crime. I haven't seen it. I don't think the tent will do it. As Janine said, the guys are just using bikes now, so I guess we're gonna have to ban bikes. The wiretapping, where's the evidence that shows that this is actually going to have an impact?
You hold right there. I'm going to get back to you on that. Okay. But let me finish up with this 5.2b here, because I think this is important here, Brandon. Because, you know, our privacy, you know, this is enshrined in the Constitution. Right? About our privacy. I don't know if Don would remember exactly where in the Constitution it is about our privacy. And if you're going to infringe on that and take that basic right from us, I would think that at least let's go to the proper channels and have, you know, a warrant should be issued, and you should not have these wide and vague terms, you know, and reasons for issuing a warrantless interception, right? Of my. So would you recommend, Brandon, as a citizen of Barbados, a young man, growing up in Barbados, a citizen of Barbados, that this section be removed from this bill?
Absolutely.
Why?
There will be no way to stop them. There will be no way to safeguard yourselves. If they're just able to move warrantless, again, who is going to be there to judge their standards? Who is going to be there to judge whatever they say is the reason why this warrant may be needed? So ultimately, like my last point, we just need to get it to a place where we have enough safeguards to make people feel comfortable. especially as it relates to these warrants as well. These things, you have to be able to go through the correct channels, go through the correct processes and procedures in order to acquire these things to tap into people's information.
Yeah. Now, would you believe if I showed you before we move this conversation on? I feel like I need to rest here a little bit because we're about presenting. Don would know this, and Janine and some and THEIRRY. We're about presenting, trying to find solutions, and we're not saying that the entire bill is bad and that it's not needed, right? What we're identifying is areas, THEIRRY, that we need to put the guardrails there, the checks and balances in, or remove completely. But would you believe, gentle people on here this evening, and those of you watching, that your Attorney General, in speaking of this in Parliament, did not mention this section of the bill? You would believe me, Janine, if I told you that? He did not mention it. In fact, I could show you, Dave could show you a clip of Honorable Wilfred Abrams saying that all of these taps, any kind of surveillance, any kind of interception, you would need a warrant for it. This is what he's saying in Parliament. They both excluded. They both excluded this particular section of the bill when they were describing it. Dave, can you put it up? Any of you would believe me if I told you that? Would you believe me, Danielle, that was excluded?
Not at all, but I think you're gonna show us now.
It was actually excluded, and they put out a GIS information package today and did not mention this section, that you can be they can basically tap your devices without a warrant. That was not included. I don't know if Dave is going to be able to do that quickly for us. Okay, so yes, let's play this one. We'll just play one tonight, and the rest I'll send to you. Go ahead, Dave. There, that one, Dave. Abrams.
Occurred without legislation. It occurred unsupervised and unregulated. Nobody knows exactly how far the police have gone with this up to this point in time. They were not required to get a warrant. There was no oversight on it. We know it occurred. We have now brought legislation to protect the people of Barbados, protect the institutions. We have now said you can't do it because you feel like it. You can't do it and we don't know what you're doing. Yes, we accept that sometimes you will need to gather evidence by interception. I'm just going to call it wiretapping because that's easy. That's just easy for me. It rolls off my tongue better. We know you may have to gather evidence by wiretapping. But you, before you need to do it, have to go and request a warrant, get a warrant from the chief.
Right there. And this is what, and I'm going to send you the other clips, guys. Janine, I'll send you the other clips of the Attorney General. This is what they are promoting. They have decided to leave 5.2b out. The cases where they could tap Don without getting a warrant. Listening to this, Don, what, as a citizen of Barbados, hearing the Honorable Wilfred Abrams saying this in Parliament, what are you thinking?
Yeah, this is what I had mentioned pretty much earlier.
I know, that's why I came back to you.
That this was the most insulting part. That we have a minister, a government saying, okay, yeah, the police have been doing this for years. Sure, it's sad, but we're not going to do anything about it. And we're going to justify it by legalizing it so that in theory, most of the time, we'll have to have the Chief Justice or another judge authorize the wiretap. While we've been talking about in theory and in practice, most of the time they won't even need a warrant to start the wiretap because of quote unquote national security. National security could have anything to do with guns, drugs, all the way to political opponents. So for them, just justifying the bill like this, I think is disappointing from Wilfred Abrams. And just the whole bill on a whole is disappointing. Well, not the whole bill on a whole, because they will be able to hopefully catch certain criminals with this. The biggest drug dealers, the biggest people pushing guns in the country, they're protected by these same politicians. So we're not even going after them. So the smaller fish that they claim that they're going to be able to catch by doing this, I really don't know. I really question it.
Yeah. Janine, the last question on this 5-2B here. Listening to Wilfred Abrams saying that no, this time around you can't just do it. You have to get a warrant. But we've just shown you in the bill where you don't need to get there instances where you don't need to get a warrant. What are your thoughts on that? Listening to this, Janine.
Just to make it sound sweet as the government always do. I mean, okay, so say that this wiretapping had to work for criminals, right? I mean, we can go on, we are young people on here, and we can go onto our Instagram right now and we can show you criminals. They're person who actually posts what they do on a day-to-day basis. So for me, if you want to do wiretapping to work, you can tap into these specific person's phone, but that doesn't happen. We see in the news every year particular individuals who we know for sure be considered persons who are breaking the law consistently, and we consistently see them getting off. So if you really wanted to, if you're saying that you were doing it before and it occurred and stuff like that, why weren't these individuals being tapped into and could have been off the streets a long time from killing people and stuff like that? So for me, I would have agreed with it if it was something that was working to really catch criminals. But for me, this is not going to do that. It's going to be targeted at the lower man. Everything in this country is normally targeted at the law-abiding citizen, on the man who considers to be a bit more poorer and stuff like that. And for me, this is control once again. If this was a government who was protecting its people, of course, would give them a pat on the back and let's do this, let's fight crime together. More certainly, because we all don't want to be living in fear. But this will go down to the smaller man, and that is my problem with this bill. But the parts of the bill.
Parts of this bill. Danielle Boyce, in countries where wiretapping is legal, have crime rates actually gone down? Did you get any chance to look at that? Anybody? Let me start with Daniel. Have crime rates actually gone down in those countries where? Yeah.
I read something earlier. I know we were looking at some documentation. I think did it impact it by about 5%?
Yes, about 5%.
I think yeah, it's about 5%, but I don't think it accounted for the percentile of persons that were oppressed or how the technology was misused, right? And like the rest of the panels touched on, come on, we know who the criminals are. Like, let's not pretend. We know where they are. We know who they are. We know what they do. We know who they're in bed with. Come on, you don't need to wiretap to get them. You just need to be just, and you guys need to, stop coming in front of the people of Barbados and lying to us and pretending as though you're doing this to benefit us as a nation, when you're just going to use it to remain in power and not, to do business as you see fit. It's not really for the protection of the people.
Mm-hmm. Terry, do you think criminals will simply switch to other hard-to-trace communication methods? Seeing that it's saying it's only worked at probably 5%, but it's the research says that the wiretapping doesn't really help that much. So do you think criminals will switch to other hard-to-trace communication methods? Theory.
Marcia, can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
I can meld my words very carefully. The thing about it, right, is that it's already happening, Marcia. I'm not going to tell you which platforms, because obviously the ones who don't know.
Okay, so let's speak clearly. Let's speak clearly. Don't mention the platforms, but speak clearly. You're saying that what? Speak clearly.
That WhatsApp is compromised. And most persons who do anything, legal or illegal, knows it is compromised, and they're using other platforms. That's as clear as I could put it.
You're saying WhatsApp is compromised and people are using other platforms. Very interesting. Brandon, do you think that criminals are going to find other communication methods?
Of course, but then as some of the other panelists were saying, like which criminals exactly? Like I think we're gonna just find ourselves in a position where every now and again they're gonna get a successful, execution of something based on the bill, and then the real people that should actually be behind bars are just gonna continue going under the radar because they're not actually going to attack anyone meaningful. So where does that leave us?
Mm, mm. So, Zico, you think that people are already using other methods of communication?
I can speak from first-hand knowledge that I know for a fact that people been using certain apps like Telegram and certain apps like that to do, criminal activity as well. This is no surprise or shock that people phones were being tapped. This is not surprise. I'm not against the bill. Let me make this very clear. I'm not against the bill. Anything to tackle organized crime, I am for. But when it comes down to vague writings and certain stuff like that, I will impact the average law-abiding citizen. And I know for sure that could be used also to target for political agendas and stuff along those kind of lines. Being used words like national security. National security just means basically national issues. So that's just my issue. But really and truly, I know for a fact, first-hand knowledge, I know for a fact that criminals being using different apps to spread messaging and different codings and stuff to spread messaging already. So it's no surprise to me at all. It's no surprise.
So you don't think it's gonna work? You want to weigh in on this, Don?
It's not gonna work.
Don,
5% is best case scenario. Let me say, 5% was its best case scenario.
So once again, it's a like tint. Go ahead, Don. You think this is like tint?
Yeah, it is throwing a plaster onto a problem that a plaster really can't fix. It's an easy way to steer the narrative away from the actual crime problem itself. The government does many things but address the actual root causes of crime. So yeah, similar to tint, which is gonna have zero to no effect on crime. I really don't see how powerful this wiretapping is going to be to stop the crime. Because realistically, the most successful criminals in Barbados are paying the politicians, are paying the police. Wiretaps will never be applied to them. So the quality and caliber of criminal that you're looking to catch with these wiretaps, I don't know. I really just think it's going to come down to political opponents at the end of the day. I think that's going to be the most useful case of the wiretap.
This is why I love to talk to young people now. Listen, you all cut to the chase. Cut to the chase. Brandon, I see you going like this. Brandon is like, I'm just over this. Brandon, why your hand? He's an actor. Now. Brandon, what going on in your mind?
No, Don is just airing my sentiments exactly. Like it's just a lot of misplacement of attention. Like they're just gonna give you little bits and pieces to make you feel like, oh, we're actually doing something when we're not. And in actuality, the real things that need to be addressed are going to continue to be swept under the rug consistently. And then when it comes down to the political game, as Don would have said, quite eloquently, they're just going to use it for their own agendas. And that's all this is going to be.
Anybody else agree with them that this is like a whole tint thing again? It's not going to do the job, because you are already telling us that they're already using other methods of communication. So this is not applying to them. Anybody else want to jump in on this? No? Daniel?
I mean, there's not much to be said. I can tell you personally, when I speak to certain officials, they don't call me regularly. They call me over apps. So it's not surprising, So
You're saying you speak to certain officials, they call you over an app?
Yeah, they don't call me like a regular phone call. They call you like via WhatsApp or like Telegram or something. You know what I mean?
So
But they
there's
ain't
a lot
calling
of,
you.
hold a minute. There's help me out here, guys. There's a lot of Telegram use in Barbados now, because
Oh
before that
yeah,
wasn't being
yeah.
used.
No, Telegram is a big one.
Telegram
Telegram
is
is
a
a big
big
one.
thing.
It's definitely growing. I hear more and more people on it.
But Telegram's been big for about down here for about 3-4 years. You know when it got really big? When they were doing the blessing circles.
The blessing
That's when,
circles?
Yeah, the blessing circles.
that's when they got big.
The
Yeah, when you
blessing
see someone
circles. So
download
it got
Telegram,
big in the blessing circles. No,
yeah.
because I know of Telegram. Why I say that, Don? But it wasn't something like you would have to be telling people about Telegram, that it exists. But you're saying that it is growing now, and you're probably going to find a lot more people going over there than with WhatsApp.
In theory, they're supposed to be even more so encrypted and secure than WhatsApp. I mean, none of us ever read the terms and conditions or whatnot or really understand, but in theory, my understanding is that Telegram is even more so secure than WhatsApp.
Even more. So they're going there. But Don, you had raised a point a bit earlier, where we are talking about encrypted WhatsApp messages, and you were saying you don't believe that they would be able to. I hope I'm understanding what you're saying or paraphrasing it well. That the government will be able to read our WhatsApp messages. Why are you saying that? Is that what you were saying? And if so, why are you saying that?
I mean, it's just my opinion at the end of the day, but I do not believe that this bill, the scope of this bill, would include WhatsApp messaging. In regular wiretapping in America, it's just what you see on the movies. It's landlines. It's now evolved into cell phones, but via the mobile carrier. So in our instance, it would be Flow and Digicel. If this is a law in Barbados, Flow and Digicel are both Bajan companies. They're gonna have to comply with this law. But WhatsApp has nothing to do with Barbados. WhatsApp is online, owned by Mark Zuckerberg, owned by a company in America. So I would find it hard to believe that a company in America finds Mia Motley's pitch to them so compelling that they decide to allow the because at the end of the day, they more so care about shareholders and press. Suppose any of us on this call were to go to a journalist in America and say, hey, WhatsApp, which is supposed to be encrypted, it's supposed to be impossible for anybody to trace your conversations. The Barbados government is tracing it. So I don't think WhatsApp would risk everything they've built, Instagram, Facebook, all of their companies' platforms, for some bad press over Barbados. I don't think so. I think that they created an encrypted network to keep it encrypted. So I don't think that anything is going to break that.
But it does happen though. It does happen though in the States when it comes to WhatsApp and Instagram and certain apps along those lines. In the same state of national security. So what happens is that government agency basically sends in a request to basically either pull up either the IP address of a particular network or whatever the case is, then for you to get the information. So it can happen. Trust me, it can happen because it does happen.
Yeah, it could. It could.
But let me ask THEIRRY, because THEIRRY is a computer. I don't know if anybody. Oh, and I think Daniel did computer science as well. But can there be workarounds where it has nothing to do? Because I agree with Don that this U.S. company more than likely would not be complying with the government officials in Barbados, and yeah. But could there be workarounds where they're using stuff like device hacking like Pegasus, where they can access cloud backups and etc. Could that work? Could that be a way where how they could read your messages and listen to your voice notes, etc. THEIRRY, let me hear the computer guys on this. Let me hear THEIRRY and then Daniel.
Yes, it is very possible. There's something called open source intelligence. What is open source intelligence? Open source intelligence is basically saying I can look at my guy ZICO. He has the Chelsea shirt there, You know, my probably is 100 or 100, probably 1,000 up to 1,000 of those jackets. They start to search for those jackets, look for the supply, etc., and they could trace back there till they find his key information and solve it there. So that's one measure. They also have the Pegasus platform you mentioned. There's a platform other stuff that I don't really want to discuss here, but it's not too difficult if you know what you're doing. And I can say so, given my expertise pertaining to that of basic. I was you say I don't consider myself an advanced person in cybersecurity, but I know certain things. I will even put it out this way. I remember the time it was a conference. These guys figured out how to find one of the most dangerous Iranian drug dealers in the world, and they use open source intelligence. And trust me, if our police or military, whoever else is going on, they're being trained. They should know how to use open source intelligence. They should know how to use certain phishing techniques and other stuff. So it's not too difficult to hack WhatsApp. As I say, WhatsApp is not secure, and that's as much as you can say.
Yeah. Okay. Let's hear from Daniel.
Yeah. So
Daniel, did you study? You studied computer science too? I think I remember that.
Computer science and software
Yes.
engineering.
Okay. Just speak up a little bit more for me.
So I think, to be honest, penetrating software like WhatsApp is going to be quite difficult for us as a country. What the easier approach, to be honest, would be for them to install software on your device that can record your keystrokes, right? So in recording your keystrokes, what I can do is, you know, when you log into your account, you go on your phone, you log into Facebook, you log into Instagram, whatever, I can record those keystrokes, and as you type in something, I can get your passwords, your banking information, that kind of stuff, right? So I can sniff all that information. I can actually do that myself. It's actually not that hard to do. You just need to be able to get the software on that person's phone. You could do that quite easily. Persons are doing it now by using like public phone chargers. They put little chips into the chargers. So when you plug your phone into a public charger, it installs that keystroke software, accesses it remotely. I can get all your passwords, banking details, all that stuff. So as opposed to trying to penetrate apps like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, which would be quite difficult, I will in turn try to hack you as the user by trying to, infiltrate, get your passwords, and so on and so forth. So if I get your passwords, I can install your WhatsApp account on my device, or I can log into your Instagram on my device and use that as a way to circumvent the securities that the encrypted applications like WhatsApp and Telegram, we'd be able to circumvent them like that by using keystroke sniffers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But interesting, very interesting. I want to, as we've discussed WhatsApp. We discussed whether or not it's going to wiretap solve any crime. We've looked at the warrantless tapping in the bill. I want us to just quickly spend a couple minutes looking at the Caribbean, the cases of the politicization of wiretaps. Okay, let's do we see that happening in the Caribbean where wiretapping was used for political purposes? Any cases anybody wants to quickly speak of before we go into our closing segment? Any cases of any where wiretapping was used politically in the Caribbean? No?
I've got a few on my phone, but to be honest, my daughter's got my phone right now, so I don't.
I saw her. We'll soon end. End. But look at, I mean, we look at places like Jamaica.
I think we saw some in Trinidad as well.
Yeah, in Trinidad in 2010 there was a scandal which targeted political opponents, journalists, and judges in Trinidad.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we can, there's a possibility that, we kind of hinted at it, here tonight. That I got you, Josie. Thank you. Give me a second. Sorry, that's my daughter. But yeah, we saw other administrations using this technology for political gain, right?
Even in Barbados, where it was used already in Barbados for political gain.
So based on the framework that we have there with the vague language, let's say they view their opposition and another party, as you know, their campaigning goes against the interests of national security, or maybe their campaigning tactics will affect the economic well-being of the state, and they use these to get, you know, warrantless surveillance on the opposition. You know, to me, that's going to put the democracy of Barbados at risk. And to me, that's not a stretch. We've seen it happen in other islands. It'd be kind of naive to think that this would be the one Caribbean territory that it wouldn't happen in.
I love how you put that. I love how you put that. But where do we go? You know, it's 9:37. I want to ask, what do we do? What do we do, ZICO? Where do we go from here? You know, what can we do? What can the citizens do?
I think these citizens first need to let their voices and concerns be known. Not just be known, but fight against it. If you don't fight against it, no.
Let's talk about the how.
All right. First, let's start talking about Saturday. We have the March Saturday coming up. All right. First, let our voices be known, our concerns be known for sure. Because I mean, like, it's too much overreach from the government. I mean, our privacy is being invaded. Yes, we already have the cameras. We're talking about the tents. We're talking now about intercepting your phone calls. I mean, like, what is next? You know, then next we're talking about where you can be basically walking more with a GPS chip and ID cards. So I think is now is the time to really speak upon it. Not let our silence and our ignorance get in the way of the government just playing God. You know, I just really think we need to really make a stand right now. And just don't like if you gotta go in front of the parliament and keep noise, let them know. We just cannot stand by on the wayside and just allow the government to play God with our lives. We need to be really, really proactive where this is concerned, because this it can plague us, it will plague us, it will be used against us, especially abiding citizen. Not really too much the criminals. Criminals will find a way around it. That's the reason why they're called criminals. They will find a way around it. You know, so we need to really, really address this in the early before it's too late.
Janine, what can citizens do right now to push for the amendments to this bill, or to stop the bill completely? Because we've identified there are sections of this bill that violates human rights. So what can we do?
Well, first of all, I think that you started it right here on the loyal opposition by educating the persons who really wouldn't have known much about it. Prior, you would have had two shows educating persons of what has been happening, and then you have it tonight with us voicing our opinions. So the public awareness is great. It needs to be more, because obviously you just can't do it here on the show, and you do have the marginal idea, as ZICO was saying. We need to demand. We are more than the government. We, the citizens of this country, we can control what we want to happen. We would have seen it with the cyber crime bill before, and we can do it again. We need to ask them to strengthen legal protections if they really want to have this done, because as I was saying, if you know women, even us as women, if you want to find out something, you don't have to tap into nobody. We could dig and dig and dig, and we will find the information if we want to. You don't got to tap into nobody's phone. I see ZICO laughing like that happened to you. But we can also engage politically. You know, we can vote for leaders and parties that are committed to protecting civil liberties. I mean, right now in Jamaica, the bill only ran recently. We would have seen for months past, we would have seen the campaigns happening, and nobody would have even said, "Oh, the election is happening at this particular time." So we can start now. We can start to advocate for better leadership. We don't have to wait until an election comes around to say, "Oh, we want this government removed." No, we can start right now.
Let me ask Teroni, if over the next decade, if this bill passes the way that it is, with the sections in there, the section 52B in there, what will it mean for Barbadians over the next, say, decade? Terry?
I know you said Teroni. I didn't know he was talking to me.
I said Teroni. I meant Terry. Sorry.
Oh, you can ask the question again.
Yeah, I was saying, what will it mean for if this bill passes in the present state? What will it mean for Barbadians over the next decade?
it'll be a very dangerous situation.
Why?
Why? Because everything we said tonight, not to reiterate, the fact that they can decide well what is national security and what is not national security, what is economic what's the security economic interest of the country. For
Economic
example,
well-being.
Dave saying something in the chat. I don't know if you mind me reading it, but he said the sewage fiasco back in 2017, 2018 goes against economic well-being, which is true. So they could have come and said, well, okay, the person speaking about that are violating the act. So for me, like, they just have to be very, very cognizant of what's going on as much as they can really say on it. Because there's nothing else we can really do besides civil disobedience. So
civil disobedience. Whoa, Daniel, let me just let Brandon, who told me that he has his daughter to take care of, so he had to leave. And I think I still see I'm not seeing Don, but let me ask. He said civil disobedience. Is that something that Barbadians might need to do? Daniel, boys, I love to talk to young people, because you guys, you don't play.
I mean, I think there've been a number of issues we've needed to engage in civil disobedience over. I don't know how we're going to convince the masses to do that.
Why you say you don't know how?
Boy, because you tend to find, like, we get on the internet, we get disgruntled and speak amongst our friends, but when it becomes time to kind of band together and take a stand, you find the majority of persons, that's where the support kind of wanes, right? So I don't know what it's going to take to convince the majority of persons to take a stand. And let's actually, do something to fight back, in essence, right? I don't know what the strategy would be to convince most persons to come out and support. If it's not now, then boy, I don't know.
But you're saying that you believe this is something that people should, Barbadians should stand up for.
Yeah, for this and a plethora of issues. We could go on all night. I've been harping on about import taxes, the cost of living, gas, diesel. We could talk all night. There's a number of issues we need to put our foot down on. And to be honest, right, what we need to remember is the power really lies with the majority. We outnumber them more than 10-1, right? So, for example, if we're having issues with, let's say, Flow and their prices, if all of us band together and we decide, well, we're not paying our bill next month, and 200,000 people decide to not pay that bill, we're gonna get change with 100% certainty. So we need to realize that we're a lot more powerful than we believe, right? We need to band together, support each other, support the initiatives, and fight back. To be honest.
THEIRRY?
One, before I mention this story, I want to say I agree with Dio, but something one of my lecturers did as an experiment showed me something, right? When we were in class, he said, I have an idea for everyone. I would give everyone 100% if everyone agrees that everyone should get 100% in this course. So, person said, okay. Sir said, let's put it to a vote. Marcia, if 20 people out of a class 100 put the hand, that was enough. And when he asked the question, why the rest of them put the hand, so I don't want this person get the same grade as me. I think if you want to do the work, you should not get this, get that. So I set out to say this. We have individuals who are self-absorbed because they are just naturally that way, and then you have persons who have so much going on that they're not going to be able to say, man, look, that's the wiretapping bill. I ain't got time for that. I got to deal with my kids. I got to deal with this. I got to deal with that. So I said all to say this. It's something that you have to sit down and analyze what will drive persons in a positive way with respect to civil disobedience, not necessarily extreme civil disobedience, to say, okay, enough is enough. So you have to understand the populace, understand how we've been climatized, indoctrinated throughout these years, and then make a decision as a body who's pushing for this protest, is pushing for activism, to see how we can galvanize or motivate the people. And that's my perspective on it, given the story that you mentioned.
Yeah, Daniel?
I just want to add to that, right? So I think I agree with you, Thierry, right? But I think we need to look at it. We have an inherent issue as Black people, right? So, Marcia, as you know, I've been studying the more persons in Kenya, right? And the atrocities that would have happened to them. Now, the British were able to go in there and commit tremendous atrocities to the Kenyan people. But if you step back and look at it, it's astounding because the Kenyan people outnumbered the British. Like they were way more Kenyans, they were way more as opposed to the British that came in. So if we took the Kenyans against the British, the Kenyans would overwhelm them. It's the same thing here. The powers that be, there are more of us on the outside than those that are on the inside. If we come together, we will have a stronger force than them. We just need to find it within ourselves to band together, put aside our differences, I guess. Find common ground, and take it further than forums like these. But forums like these are necessary. But we need to take the next step. Go past the internet, go past just having conversations, and actually commit to something and take a stand.
Commit to something and take a stand. ZICO, I see you're shaking your head.
Yes, I do agree. I think we need to mobilize, then verbalize, and then hold them hostage with our votes. I think it needs to be said, if we're going to say
hold them
we're
hostage with our votes. What does that
Yes.
mean? And this is why I love to speak with young people, because you guys, you're not talking around. You hitting straight. You said mobile, and Janine was hinting at that. Explain to me talk to me straight.
First of all, we need to understand the traditional voting system in terms of we voted based on our parents, we voted based on because it's where we come from, is voting these our whole lives, we voted these our whole lives, and we just voted just because of tradition or just because we like a personality, not because of policy or not because of the best interests of our people. So I think what we need to do right now is to make it known. You will not have our votes if certain needs are not met, if certain things are not met. And I don't think we do that when it comes to election. We just ask for money, or we just ask for something very vague as well. We want jobs, or we want something, but no, we need to, when it comes to policy, pay attention to policy. I don't think Bajans pay attention to policy, and go and hold them hostage. We're not giving you our votes if this is not done, especially when it comes down to marching, when it comes down to actually being an activist for certain situations within Barbados, the social ills within Barbados, going out there and saying, you know what, you will not have our votes if this is not met, if this is not done. We do not agree with this bill. That's a true democracy. Do not wait for them to give us the power. We have the power. We actually give them the power, So understand that we have the power. We can take back that power from them. And once we understand that we really do hold the cards, I think we can really change the playing field and really hold them hostage.
Janine, you are the first one who mentioned that you think in a case like this, with this wiretap bill, except especially section 5(2)(b), that the people can say, if you don't take it out, we're not voting for you. You think that would work, Janine?
It would if we really put action behind it, because sometimes Barbadians just speak, but they don't actually take the action.
Explain to somebody, how do they put action behind something like that?
By starting from now, as I was saying earlier, I don't think that we have to wait until election. We can demand our right now. Our voices matter, our rights matter, our freedom matters. And I think that we don't really, understand our power. If we really, really had to tap into our power, things would be really different in Barbados. I would like the government to also remember that security does not come from spying on law-abiding citizens. If you really want to be secure, you should really look to who really are the criminals and just get the information there. As I was also saying earlier, is like a repetition. We can look on our Instagram right now or on WhatsApp, and you can tell you persons who will be involved in illegal activity. You don't have to go into where it's happening if you don't want to, As I said, I'm really not against the bill, but I can see that this bill doesn't have any safeguards for anybody. And my question tonight would be to the government: are we slowly turn it into a surveillance state. Because yes, everybody wants. We don't want to have any crime, of course. We want to live free and to walk about without fear. However, I can see where I've seen things within this government, especially where something was started, as a good thing for citizens, and then it slowly turns into abuse. In terms of, all right, so for now, in China, like how they're putting like cameras on to catch criminals. We see in China it's supposed to catch criminals at first, and then all of a sudden it turned into be, oh, this is how your credit score work. This is how things will happen to you. This is how you're being monitored. So eventually, would we turn into a surveillance state? Because we see that this government always says one thing and then it turns out to be another, and that is my fear when it comes to certain things within this bill.
Yeah, yeah. As we think about the march this Saturday, we have a march coming up. It doesn't make sense. Is it worth it, ZICO? ZICO, you think that it's working for young people like yourself, right? You guys are young. Is it necessary for us to hit the streets on Saturday, ZICO?
Yes, of course it is worth it. As I said, once again, we have the power. We, the people, have more power than the pen itself. And we have to let our voices be known. We have to let them know that we're displeased with this. Is not a partisan thing. Is not if you're BD, whatever the case may be. You have to come and stay and speak for your rights. Speak for your rights. I understand. Empower the people to speak. I know we believe that people is saying, "Oh, we're gonna march and what you gonna do? What you gonna do?" So what is it gonna do when we do nothing? Evil prevail when good people fail to act. So if we decide to stay in our houses and just mumble either in a social media comment or something, no, get out there and let your voices be known. If you're displeased with it, go out there and say, you know what, I didn't need to get rid of the bill, or we want certain changes within the bill. We need to go out there and let our voices be known. We are the people.
Are you going to be there on Saturday?
This Saturday, unfortunately, cannot. I have a session with some youth that I'm counseling. So that's around that same time as well. But otherwise,
yeah. But I know you've been out there on some of our marches. THEIRRY, what do you say to Barbadians about the march? Do you think you were very involved with the cybercrime bill march? I remember you on the truck, etc. You think that was worth it being out there, THEIRRY, with the cybercrime bill?
Most definitely. If it wasn't boycotted to go to Parliament, it would have been Parliament, and me and the Honourable, or previously Honourable, Edmund Hickson would have been at it. But the thing about it is, it was worth it because Janine got a chance to go, right?
Janine went to Parliament as well.
Yeah. So a lot of persons, if we didn't speak up and stand up, we would never got the opportunity. So the protesting works. But the thing about it, you have to be consistent. As the whole entire thing, consistency. Otherwise, person will be like, okay, well, man, let me serious, man, I ain't taking that serious. Like the older lady that we love so much, Dolores. We speak about how she been preaching down tongue for where I can't remember the other places, but for a while, and then she was consistent person. Listen, so you just gotta be consistent.
Keep being consistent. Daniel, BOYCE, I have never seen you at any of our marches and protests. Are you one of those young people who say, man, they need to go sit down and don't bother with these marches and protests? What are your thoughts? What are your true thoughts about it, Daniel? You think it's a waste of time?
No, not at all. I think it's necessary, even if it's just to spread awareness, right? I'm hoping to come out this Saturday. I probably will. I know you would know. Personally, my schedule is my timing is not always my own. But once things at home are good, I'm definitely gonna come out because we need to spread awareness with 100% certainty.
Definitely. So Saturday, everybody, we are inviting you down on Saturday. And as you heard from THEIRRY was out there on these marches. So was Janine. Janine actually went into Parliament to speak up on behalf of the concerning the cybercrime bill. ZICO has been out there. And folks, it's important. Don't listen to people who say it's not going to make a difference. All you have to think about is a cybercrime bill, which is in the garbage right now. You have not heard one political, one MP go for it, THEIRRY. That's what I'm saying. Take that victory and ride on that victory. And I'm saying, ZICO, The 5(2)(b) needs to come out. And all of this thing about this oral warrant and all of these, all the and these vague terms, they need to come out of the bill, and we must not stop until they're all out. That is my belief, and we've seen it happen with the cybercrime bill, and we can do it again, Barbadians. And here you have your young people saying that we can do it. THEIRRY is the youngest. How old are you, THEIRRY? I love to ask him that. I know you know, but I love to ask him.
I am 22 years young.
22? You turned 22 now? I knew you when you were 20. and let me tell you, he can speak. He could mount a platform, and THEIRRY can speak and move you. I am telling you. I hope that he is able to come out. Again, this is a good cause. This is a human rights issue. And we're thinking of Barbados in the next 10 years. So we need everybody to come out. Don't sit home and say, well, it's not going to work. Just think of the cybercrime bill. And I agree with THEIRRY, I think, or somebody said being consistent. With the cybercrime bill, we were out there every week. You remember? We were out there every week. Every Saturday. We were out there. Go ahead, THEIRRY.
And the sun was very hot.
And the sun was hot. We had you and Timon and all of you out there, right? Janine was out there some of the times. So we need you all to come out again, folks. And the numbers matter, all right? Come out and let your voices be heard on Saturday. I want to take this time to thank you all for taking the time to be here. Daniel, I know that you have a lot going on, but you're here. Thanks to Brandon, who told me ahead of time that he had to go to take care of something with his family, but he came on. And thanks to Don, who had to duck out as well. He's a businessman. I know that he has a lot happening for him, and he had to go. THEIRRY, thank you once again. Thank you also Janine and ZICO. Folks, we really, really appreciate you coming on and hearing you talk about these serious issues, because we were going to have a different kind of show, but with this we had to jump into this, and I'm going to charge you all. I need you to help to put some memes together. Help us to get the information out. Help us to get it on Instagram. How do you help us to get this out? We need you to help to get we need to help you, your help to help us to educate the young people in this country, because you are the ones that are going to inherit what this government is doing, regardless of the government, and be able to know that if it was a DLP in, we would need to go on march, right? And if they're doing this kind of thing, go on march. If the UPP was in, go on march. It don't matter who is in. Yeah? If it's wrong, it's wrong. All right? So again, as Judith Ann said, thank you all to our panelists. God bless you all. And thank you to everybody who is joined. God bless you, ZICO. See you around. And bless you, THEIRRY. Bless you, Janine. And of course, Don. We will talk. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you, Janine. Thank you. Folks, that was wonderful. Just to hear them go through these hard issues. It is their country. At the end of the day, we're going to be gone, and they will have to inherit everything that has occurred here, is occurring in this country. Somebody saying here, you're doing a good job, THEIRRY, although he's gone. Keep focus, right? At the roadside parliament, yes. Yes, I'm sure once he's there, he'll say something. Marlene says if she was there, she would be at the protest. Yes, the flyer is coming up, Hurricane. I tried to get it ready. There are different people who do things for us. So we are waiting to hear. Hurricane said no excuses, come out Saturday. That means Hurricane will be there. Judith says thank you to all the panelists. Justin, without the people's power exercise, the bill cannot perish. You see, the people need to exercise their power for that bill to go to the garbage, or the sections of the bill to go to the garbage. Right? Andrea, you're too funny. It's all about the process. Charmaine Dean says wiretapping has nothing to do with crime prevention. It is to silence and target political enemies and dissidents. Correct. Yeah. Tanisha says people come out and tell this government no to these bills. We are not slaves. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There's going to come that time. Judith says there has to be vocal outcry and protests in numbers. Otherwise, they will not take us seriously. I long to see the day when there are thousands on the march. Aaron says it will only take someone to start something, then others will follow. Yes. So once again, good night to everybody. I just want to wish you good sleep. We had some great discussions tonight, and it's always good to hear from our young people. So God bless you, and see you all on Wednesday. It will either be myself or Dr. Ferdinand, depending on how he is feeling. We're praying, of course, that he will be much better, and we miss him on the show tonight. All right. And so we will see you all on Wednesday again. God bless you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
You know, in the name of my children and my grandchild, that I want to live in a country where there's freedom of expression. That I want to live in a country where no despot can feel that they should hold the destiny of my children and my grandchild in their hands. And that Mayor Motley is a menace. She's a menace because she's a despot. She's a menace because she's a despot, believes that she has a right to be a despot. She would try to be a despot with me. And I want to end by saying this. My parents sent me to school so that I should not be a boy in the yard for any despot in this country. And I will be true to them and true to my children by fighting this despotism that is taking.
Promise us a better tomorrow. Tell me that it's suffering done. Me attack the vote and let me down. Me attack the vote and let me down. She did only want little dealing, big contracts and not corruption. Me attack the vote and let me down. Me attack the vote and let me down. Barbados is too small for me. My pocket full now, you and job they promise me. And a girl like me want power and more money. You cry transparency, but that's a no for me. Promise us a better tomorrow. Tell me that it's suffering done. Me attack the vote and let me down. Me attack the vote and let me down. She did only want little dealing, big contracts and not corruption. Me attack the vote and let me down. Me attack the vote and let me down.
That maths nor English, English. Pretending to be good, I pretending to be good, just pretending to be good. I pretending to be good, I just pretending to care about people. 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 Pretending, and I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. I'm pretending to be good. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people.